Good evening, everybody. I'm Grant Cunningham, and welcome to Training Talk exclusively here on the Personal Defense Network. Now, this is the show where we talk about you, about your life, and how to protect it. In the next hour, we're going to explore how you can prepare and equip for that worst case scenario and keep yourself and your loved ones safe from harm. Now, this is not a show where we do politics or religion, and you're not going to hear conspiracy theories or strange sort of fringe political commentary, just authoritative information, authoritative personal defense information that you can put to use right now. It's the reasonable and practical approach to self-defense, and I hope you'll find it both educational and perhaps even a little entertaining. And tonight, I think particularly you'll find it entertaining because we've got a great guest on. Now, if you like what we're doing here, with Training Talk, would you do us a favor and share it with your friends and family and coworkers and social media contacts and all that sort of thing? I know we'd certainly appreciate it if you would, and I know they would too, because they'll be getting the same terrific information that you're getting right now. So please share on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat and all those other social networks, a whole bunch of which that I've probably forgotten. We'd certainly appreciate it. So on tonight's show, like I said, we've got a great show. And if you saw the announcements, my friend Julie Loeffler is back tonight to talk more about women's concealment and women's self-defense and how to carry tools and perhaps even a firearm and still remain stylish and fashionable and able to blend into a professional environment. So that's coming up in just a few minutes. And we had a great show the first time she was on a few weeks back, and we didn't even scratch the surface of all the information that she has at her fingertips. And so tonight we're going to go through a lot more of that and hopefully answer a few questions that came up along the way. We'll also hopefully have enough time to answer a couple of your emails. There's one in particular that I'd like to get to, and it has to do with flashlights, about defensive flashlights. And that's an area where Julie is actually an expert, and I'd love to get her feedback on the question too. So stick around for that. We're back on our regular schedule tonight, and thank you for tuning in. Last week's show, we did a show last week, which was a little off, as I said, because of the NRA convention in Louisville that I attended, and Julie was actually there too. And so we're back on our regular schedule now, and remember, always the first and third Thursdays of every month at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And so that is what's going to happen tonight, and I hope you'll stick around for all of it. And I hope that you've told some of the ladies in your life about the show, because there's a lot of great information coming up. Before we get to that, though, I want to call your attention to the Personal Defense Network weekly newsletter. Now, you may have heard me talk about this before, and I hope you signed up for it, because if you have, you're getting great weekly information in your email box, including notifications for when this show is on, notifications for the live show with Rob Pincus that he does once a month, answering a lot of great viewer questions about self-defense topics, and a whole bunch of other stuff. There's just a ton of great information, and the PDN newsletter keeps you up to date on all that stuff. And let's take a look. I want to show you just how easy it is to sign up for this. What we're going to do here is we're going to start a screen share. I'm going to show you this. Here we go. And if you go to the Personal Defense Network website, a lot of times this will come up. The free e-newsletter that allows you can just click this little button here, sign up. It's free, and it gives you latest training videos, feature articles, hot topics, and more. Now, when you become a member here at Personal Defense Network, you're going to be joining over 300,000 other people who are members here at Personal Defense Network, free members here at Personal Defense Network, and are getting this great newsletter every week in their email box. Terrific information. And if you happen to miss this particular sign up, let's say that goes away, you can still sign up from just about any page on the Personal Defense Network site. If you scroll down in the middle, oh, look at this, stay connected. And there's a place right there where you can put your email address and sign up for the newsletter. And of course, on the bottom of every page, stay connected, there's another one where you can put your email address in and sign up for the free newsletter. Join the hundreds of thousands of other people that are getting this information. Now, it's easy to get on. It's also easy to get off. If you decide you're not interested in getting the email newsletter anymore, there's a link on it. You can unsubscribe very, very easily. But I don't think you're going to want to, frankly, because the amount of free information that's in these newsletters is just mind-boggling. So I think you're going to be very happy with the information that you get from Personal Defense Network every week with the free email newsletter. So be sure to sign up for that if you haven't already. All right. Well, as I said at the beginning, my friend Julie Loeffler is with us tonight, and we're going to be talking about self-defense and women's self-defense and how to carry tools and prepare for self-defense and still remain stylish and fashionable and fit in with work and society and all that other stuff. You know, men have it pretty easy. If you're a guy listening to this, you've got to understand that we have it easy. I mean, pretty much we put on a pair of pants, put on a shirt, maybe we put on a tie and wear a suit jacket, but pretty much, you know, we've always got belt loops, we've always got pockets. It's relatively easy for us. It's not so easy for women. And luckily, we have people like Julie around who have experimented quite a bit with this and know a lot about how to work around women's fashions and still be able to protect themselves. So, Julie, how are you this evening?
I am well. How are you?
Oh, great. Thanks. And thanks for coming on the show again. I really appreciate you coming back and talking with us and sharing some of your great information.
Well, thanks for having me.
We got, there's some questions I kind of wanted to ask you going into this thing. And one of them, and I want to get right to this question because this has been very popular now back in at SHOT Show, actually. 511 Tactical Apparel announced what everybody was calling tactical yoga pants. Now, they actually call them, and I want to make sure I get this right. Oh, gosh. Oh, I've lost it now, but anyway, they call them, there's a capri and a tight, and I think they call them the Raven Capri and Raven Tight, something like that.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Yep.
And so, like I said, these things came out, they were announced at SHOT Show, and they came out, and a lot of people tried them out and seemed to really like them. And you tried out a pair as well. In fact, you took them to a combat-focused shooting class. Is that correct?
Yes, I did, just this past weekend.
Okay, so tell us, what did you learn about the 511 tactical yoga pants, and what do you think of them?
Well, I guess if you put belt loops on something, you can call them tactical. I mean, they were fine. The material is great. I bought the capris, so you know, I wore boots. So I had the boots that came up, they covered the leg. I had the capris. I wore a gun belt, and I wore an outside the waistband holster. Fantastic. Yeah, I have no complaint. Well, no, I have one complaint. There's no pockets. But in most yoga pants, there are no pockets. There might be one little hidden pocket, but there was no pocket for additional holsters. You know, if you've got jeans or cargo pants, you might have two back pockets where you might have to stash a couple of extra magazines when you're running a class like that. Well, I had to get a little creative, and yeah, I had put them over here. I had two holsters. I had a magazine holder here where it held two, which was great, but I needed four. So I had to put two in my bra by the girls and reload that way for the two remaining magazines.
Okay.
So that's really their fault. But as far as a yoga pant, they were fine. I don't know that it helped my training. And if I'm going to be wearing yoga pants out with my friends, I'm going to be wearing a belly band. I'm not going to be wearing a belt and a holster that requires a belt. So for me, it wasn't it's fine. I'll wear them when I train out on the range and so forth, but am I going to wear them when I'm out? No, probably not. I think maybe the market is confused as to who their market really is. You know, I think maybe they didn't market them very well. Maybe they need to go back and revisit who they want them to be aimed at.
Now, in terms of just in terms of comfort and flexibility and all that sort of thing, were they as comfortable as regular yoga pants?
Oh yeah, yeah, they're fine. I mean, the way they were made are great quality. I will say this: they're a little short in the waist. They were fine for me, but if you have a long waist, you may need to ask about some measurements on them. Give them a call. I'm sure they've got a great 1-800 customer service line, and talk about the measurements on the waistline, because some people who don't like to wear their pants down so low might not like them so much.
From an appearance standpoint, or are they presentable as regular yoga pants out in public?
Yeah, look here. Have them right here. I got the olive green ones, and they're fine. This is the capri. I don't know. Is that good? Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, these are the capris, and you know, the belt loops are great. They're sturdy. The material is just fine. The stitching is phenomenal. They did a great job on that, A++. I will say this though: read the directions when you're washing them. And I can't even blame this on Mr. Loeffler. I just don't think, I just kind of assumed, and I was in a hurry and I threw them in the dryer. I think I now have tactical bike shorts. They kind of shrunk. So don't put them in the dryer. Don't put them in the dryer. But yeah, they're fine. They're fine.
Okay, I thought I was the only one who did stuff like that. I'm really glad to hear that somebody else does it too. We won't get into my adventures in laundry, but let's just put it this way. My wife has forbidden me to wash any clothing in our house, and this happened quite a few years ago, and it wasn't my fault.
So. You didn't do that on purpose either, did you?
No, actually I didn't. That's the sad thing. I ruined not only her clothes, but mine as well.
Oh, yeah.
So okay, so let's get right into the topic today and talk a little bit about women's clothing for self-defense and concealment, and let's talk a little bit about body shapes, because there are a lot of different body shapes, a lot of different clothing that fits those body shapes, and they affect what tools you carry and how you carry them. Am I correct in assuming that?
Absolutely. And more importantly, it affects the concealability factor, which is the most important thing. You know, if we're going to conceal carry, you don't want it to show. And if you know what your body type is, and if you know what clothing best works with your body type, you're going to be able to have a much better idea of what you should be buying when you're thinking in terms of concealed carry. And that's where fashion, knowing your body, and concealed carry and personal defense all kind of come together for me.
Okay, cool. So share with everybody what you do with this information, and how do you put this together? You know, how do you discover what kind of body shape you've got, and how do you make this work?
Okay, I have visual aids today.
Oh,
because I don't draw so well. I'm going to bring this in. Can you see?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go.
Good. So we have apple, we have pear, we have hourglass, and we have rectangle. And every woman who's watching this show knows exactly what I'm talking about. And you can pretty much put each body in one of these categories. And it's men are kind of like rectangle, and got it. So everybody designs for the rectangle for the men, and you're good to go. You are the garanimals of putting clothing items together, and we love it. So I have some options that work specifically for each body type that I want to talk about, and then I also have some that go with each and every body type. And that's kind of unique and special, and everybody needs to have those in their closet if you're going to be concealed carrying. And I picked items that were summer type things. Okay.
Okay, great.
So what I'm going to do is I have my lovely assistant offside here, and I'm going to ask her to hand me clothing items, and we can talk about how they look. I want to start with something that's pretty universal. We'll start universal, and then we'll start paring it down. No pun intended. Michael, will you hand me that jacket on there right there? Okay, thanks. This is a boxy jacket. It's got closures, front closures, or it can be worn open. But the most important thing is if you look at the back of it, it actually, let me pull it back a little bit, it actually looks like a box. And where this hits the bottom of the jacket for most women is going to be sitting right above the hip line. When you have a jacket that sits right above the hip line, it's going to conceal, first of all, the firearm. But for women, it's going to conceal a lot of imperfections, things that we're self-conscious about. So this is it's a perfect thing for concealment for the body and also for the firearm. Women who have a round shape, what you're going to wear with this is something loose and flowy, kind of like this right here. You're going to want to put something underneath it that is lightweight, a little bit longer than the jacket, and it's going to flow and move with your body. That way, when you have these items together, you're going to look nice, and this is going to be the structure part, but this is going to be the nice flowy part underneath, and that's what people with an apple shape need. Somebody who has a pear shape with this jacket, go ahead and give me the white blouse. The white blouse. Yes. Can wear something a little more form-fitting underneath it. And is that white giving you a lot of feedback? There you go.
There we go.
See how it's got a little detail in the front, the ruffle? See this right here?
Yep.
That also helps with concealment. But when you put that underneath the jacket with somebody who has a pear shape, usually when you have a pear shape, that means that you're a little bit smaller up top and you're a little bit bigger in the hips. So you have the ability to accentuate up top a little bit more and wear something a little more form-fitting, such as this shirt with the jacket underneath. You could probably even get away with a nice tank top, depending upon how your belly is and whether it's concealable for the firearm underneath.
Okay, quick question with
Yes.
both of these outfits with that jacket, what kind of carry device, what kind of holster, or how would you prefer to carry in those two outfits?
What I would do is I tend to carry around my middle. I appendix carry right here. So it depends upon what pant you have on. If you're wearing leggings with those outfits, belly band, or
Okay.
the stowaway. We're all familiar with the belly band. Do you want to see an example of one?
Yeah, why don't you show one just for those people who may not be aware of what a belly band is. These things are great for both men and women, by the way. Yeah,
they really are. Now, there's a whole myriad of brands of belly bands. This just happens to be the ICE training belly band that I think they partnered with Crossbreed holsters.
Right.
This is the one where you have, this is just that heavy elastic. And what you do is you put it around your waist. I'll put it on the outside of my clothing, but you put it around your waist like this. And a lot of times men, especially, or people who have smaller hips, are going to wear it below their jeans, and then they're going to put the firearm right here. Women, doesn't really matter if you can wear it way low or if you wear it up a little bit, because our hips are sometimes going to let that ride up. But this can work underneath yoga pants, underneath jeans, underneath dress pants, underneath a skirt, a summer dress, those maxi dresses. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. So I would say if you don't have one of these, and they're sized, and if you have extra around the middle, they come with extra pieces of elastic. So don't be afraid that you're not going to be able to fit into one of these, because you will. It's probably one of the most versatile holsters I've ever owned.
So you're going to, so the blouse that you're wearing is basically going to provide the concealment factor, right?
Yes,
And then the jacket serves as structure and essentially distraction. Is that
yes,
correct?
absolutely.
Okay, cool.
And when you're wearing these items, you know, I wore this as just a little tiny piece with my outfit, but obviously the shirt is distracted, right? It's got pattern to it. That's another thing that any body type can use to their advantage, but also jewelry. I mean, the accessories come into play as well. When you have something around your middle and you want to distract from this area, accentuate up.
Right.
Put your necklaces on, wear some jewelry, hair. Anybody with curly hair in this humid weather that we have here, this is actually considered in fashion an accessory. Anything that draws attention to itself is an accessory. Hair
Well,
can be.
that's why I've got long hair, you see, because it draws attention. See, I've learned that.
You have two. You
So
have
what,
black and you have hair.
yeah. So what about the other body types? What can they do?
Yep. The hourglass. Um, I want to give that shirt right there. Yes, the hourglass figure for sure. That means you have a smaller waist and you have a little more up top and maybe a little more on the hips. So you actually look like an hourglass. The best thing you can do is accentuate your waist. Wear a cinched waist, wear a wrap dress, put something here. And I know that kind of goes against what we were talking about because you're trying to take attention away from here. But if you accentuate here, even a cinched piece of material. I wore a tank top at the NRA convention that had a knot right here and then just starburst out. That is also something that an hourglass figure can wear, and it will. Hi, Andy. He's trying to sneak by. That will work well. Tank tops. If you have an hourglass figure, go ahead and wear something that cuts in a little bit more. And then if you have to put something on top of it, that's fine. But people are going to notice this cut right here in your body. And that will also draw their eye up into maybe this area. And it will take the attention away from the waist.
Okay, again, belly band here, or are you going to go with something else?
Yeah, belly band's fine. I also, if you don't mind, and we're going to talk about belts here in a little bit, and I'm going to flash everybody here. I bet you didn't know. Everybody says, "Oh, everybody can tell when you wear a belt." I hate belts. Belts are awful, but belts are gross. If I see, you can't. Can you see I have a belt on? No.
No.
But I do. And look here. I actually have this. It's one of those big, thick leather ones, and it kind of sticks out a little bit, so it kind of makes me look like I have a gut, which maybe I do, maybe I don't. But but if you put can you hand me the one right on the end? The Kydex holster, thank you. This is an appendix carry holster, and it actually is from FlashBang, and it's called the Betty. And it is one of the most comfortable appendix carry holsters that I own. And you just slip that right in here, clip it right on your belt, and away you go. Nobody's ever going to know that you've got it on, right? You see it? You see it?
That's great.
Yeah.
You know, one of the interesting things that I want to point out here, particularly for the men in the audience, the idea of appendix carry is relatively new to us as males, and yet I've known quite a few women over the years that have carried appendix before it really had a name and before men really started doing it. Of course, there's some controversy. There are some people in the training environment, in the training community, who don't like it, but at the same time, I've seen an awful lot of women, particularly instructors and a lot of women in the know, over the years gravitate to what we now call appendix carry, simply because for the kind of fashions that you wear, it seems to work really well.
It does, and I'll give you another point. If somebody is reaching in this area of me, I know that's a game changer. That's a no-no. I mean, unless somebody I know and they're giving me a hug and they're reaching in this area, that's a game changer. Then it's game on. I can see it. I can defend. I can pull this out. I can pull whatever else I have up here. I might not be able to get to this.
Right.
When I do my startle reaction, my hands are here. They're not back here. They're up here. I like this. So that's another reason why I like the appendix carry.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Have we talked about all the body shapes now? Or is there?
There's one called the rectangle, and it was the one that had the newspaper on it.
Right.
They can wear just about anything. They just have to be careful not to cinch anything in on the waist. You're gonna find women who have a rectangle shape, and I'm kind of rectangle. I used to be apple, but now I'm rectangle, so that's a win. But you don't want to draw attention into your waist. You don't want to wear a tight-fitting shirt. You don't want to wear the empire waist here that's going to flare out. What you want to do is wear something that is that boxy jacket, or one of these two. Give me this one. This is a summer vest, and it's all cotton, and it's so cute because it's nice and fitting up top, but you see all these little wrinkles here? It's an extra material, and in the back, it's actually longer in the back than it is in the front. And it's going to flare out, and that's the way it lays on the body in the front and the back. This is perfect for box. This is one of those things that anybody can wear, but a person with a boxy figure, throw on some leggings, throw on a short sleeve shirt or a tank top underneath, put some necklace on, and you're good to go. You can fit anything.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Interestingly enough, a lot of really good ideas, and quite frankly, it looks like with maybe a little creativity, maybe carrying a defensive firearm isn't as tough as I originally thought.
Piece of cake, but you have to be able to feel comfortable doing it. You know, the way you carry yourself, and when you have a firearm on, when you first started carrying, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, right? I'm not gonna go with age.
It was further back than that, but yeah, okay.
You insert the number. But okay, for me, when I started concealed carrying 8 to 10 years ago, hold on. Oh, there. All right, you got me?
There she is.
When I started concealed carrying 8 to 10 years ago, I didn't feel real comfortable doing it. So you always walk a little bit differently. You always talk a little bit different. You just kind of carry yourself. But once you get comfortable carrying, then that's part of the concealment. You stop fidgeting. You stop giving yourself away. And then the clothing is just the window dressing.
Right, and I think the same is true for men. I can remember vividly the first time carrying for me, and it was a little bit on the nerve-wracking side, and after a while you get used to it, and I think that's true for everybody. So tell me, for instance, so we talked about guns.
Yeah.
Let's talk about two of the other self-defense tools that we talk about a lot, and that's knives and flashlights. How do you carry a knife and or a flashlight on a daily basis?
I like to wear a lot of V-necks or shirts that are scoop neck, just because with my body type that works best for distraction and concealment, and it makes me taller. It makes me look taller. It's a cheat. So what I do is I conceal in my bra. And it's no stranger to me. And here we go. I flashed up, so now I'm going to flash down. Right here in my bra, I carry a knife, and I carry a flashlight, an LED flashlight. It's a FourSevens flashlight, actually. And when I'm in this position, if I am ambushed or startled, I'm right here. I'm going to be able to reach or fight to get to something. If I can't get to my firearm, or heaven forbid I don't have it on that day, here I am, always, 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 always. So
okay.
The other thing you can do is you can carry on your waistline. There's nothing that says that you can't carry right here. Jeans, yoga pants, dress pants, skirt, whatever. Just keep it in the middle. You know, you don't want to put it back here.
Right. Okay,
So
cool.
Yeah.
you mentioned belts a little earlier, and I want to drop back to that for just a second. Now, I've talked quite a bit about wearing, about what men have to do in terms of belts to wear in a professional environment. And so what about women? I don't see a lot of belts on women generally, and I don't see a lot of belts really designed for or sold for women. So how do you pick a belt that will, and of course a lot of women's clothing doesn't have belt loops, but for those that do, what do you pick? What are you looking for in a belt to be worn?
Well, okay. Women and belts. It's an on and off again love affair. And they were really popular with some of the dresses back in the early 80s, late 70s, and wasn't that great. So sometimes they bring them back and forth in and out of fashion. Sometimes they're wide, sometimes they're skinny, sometimes they're flimsy, sometimes they're a piece of material that you tie in a knot. So the fashion aspect of a belt really is subjective, and it's to the whim of the designers of that season. So when we're talking about belts and fashion, a lot of women just kind of forget about them. They're not really, for all the belt manufacturers out there, sorry, but they're not a real big concern for a lot of women. Now, when women are starting to conceal carry and they need a belt because they're going to be wearing a holster that needs a belt, then that's a whole different story. And for me, it was a learning process. I was one of those people who said, oh God, I'm never gonna wear a belt. Belts, I hate belts. Belts are stupid. I hate belts. And then I realized, well, no, you kind of have to wear a belt if you're gonna wear certain kinds of holsters. Don't be dumb, and don't be reckless. So I decided that I was going to do something, and this is a very touchy subject for people, but I mean, let's just be real. If you're uncomfortable wearing a belt, you need to look at yourself in the mirror and say, is it because I have too much around the middle that I'm uncomfortable wearing a belt? And if that's the case, do something about it. And if you don't want to do something about it, measure your waist and get a proper fit on a gun belt. You can hide it. Look, I hid mine. You don't have to be proud that you're wearing a belt. You don't have to show it. But if you're going to wear a holster that needs a belt, go to any of the gun manufacturers or gun belt manufacturers. I just tried one. Tedder Industries, they make the alien gear holsters, and they have a belt called the Bigfoot belt. And I got one to try for the CFS class, and it's great. I don't know, I'm going to try it for 6 months, and I'm going to see if it holds up to the stress test, but it worked great for the class. And so I also have a FlashBang belt. You want to see it?
Sure.
Okay. So this one that I have on is the Tedder Industries Bigfoot belt. See it? It's just a black and simple. It's great. This is, would you hold this for a minute? This is the FlashBang belt. And this is, we were talking earlier online about color and whether it makes a difference and so forth. And this is one of the things I really love about FlashBang. They have incorporated color on the inside. I know it's there. Sometimes it's red, sometimes it's purple, sometimes, I don't know if they have any pink. Blue, I think, teal is a color. But on the outside, it's just a belt. It's a really nice, well-made, very sturdy belt. And you need to make sure that you have one if you're going to carry with a holster that needs a belt.
Okay. Cool.
Let me add.
Go ahead.
These are the dumb belts. This is a smart belt.
Right.
Smart belt. These are dumb belts. See this thing? This holds nothing. Nothing. This one is pretty, but it's a dumb belt. It won't do anything when you're carrying a gun. This is not going to support anything. Even if it's got that little metal edge around the side, it's not going to do a thing. See how thin that is compared to a regular gun belt? Dumb belts. There you go. That's all I have to say.
Okay. The FlashBang belt, by the way, looks nice, and our friend Lisa Looper at FlashBang, I think, has done a really great job of coming up with some new ideas, like the Betty holster. Is that the name of the one you showed? I think.
Fantastic. Yep.
And so she's come up with a lot of really great ideas in the last few years for women's concealment, and she's a great lady and a great company too, and definitely worth supporting. We've got just a couple of minutes left, and I know this is a huge topic, but I want you to just say a couple of words about women and shoes and self-defense. Can a woman actually defend herself and stay safe wearing heels? That's a question I get quite a bit.
The short answer is yes. Of course you can. But you have to be smart in what you choose. And everybody is going to have a different choice. Everybody's balance is different. Everybody's weight distribution is different. Everybody's strength is different. You know, think about ankle strength.
Right.
Think about leg strength. This shoe, can you see it? It's a wedge. Yeah. I wore this one. As a matter of fact, I have them on right now. I'm standing on a step stool, and I have great balance with these shoes on. If you look at what this actually is, this is not a heel that's this tall. You have to subtract this amount up here from back here. And then you have what, maybe 1.5 inches, maybe a 2-inch heel. So when you're talking about, can you defend yourself? Can you run? Can you wear these shoes? I can. I wore this shoe all around the NRA convention for 8 hours walking, and it was fine, and my feet didn't hurt. Now I have, in contrast, this one. Same size heel, maybe a little bit bigger. Can you see it?
Yeah. Okay.
It's a cute shoe. It's a summer shoe. I love it, but it's not as comfortable. I wouldn't be able to run as well in these. See how thin this is right here? Right. There's no padding here. There's no comfort here. So when you ask the question, can you defend yourself? Can you run in a heel? It's all subjective. Okay. And that's the short answer. We can get into more detail after your break if you want, because there's actually people who've invented self-defense classes for women in heels. Not that I advocate them, but they're out there. Okay. But we go into that if you want. Okay. We are probably not going to have time in this show because we're rapidly running out of time. As a matter of fact, I need to do some other things yet in this show. But before I do, Julie, how do people get in touch with you? Because you do a lot of classes. You've got a lot of great classes. How do people get in touch with you? I have a website, midohioimb.com. I have an email, julie@midohioimb.com. I have a public telephone number, if you want to flash that up or put that down in the below. I'll have it in the link. There you go. And I also have a blog where I talk about things like this. I talk about nutrition. I talk about books that are good to read. I talk about holsters and gun choices and why. I always answer the question why. So you can find me in any of those areas and talk about the training classes that I have. They're all listed on the website as well. Okay, cool. And I know you're all over social media and all that kind of thing too. They can find you on Facebook and probably, do you do Instagram or Snapchat or any of those things? Yep, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, and that's all me personally. And then I also have a business page on Facebook, Mid-Ohio IMB. Okay, cool. So, by the way, can you stick around for a little bit, because I've got a viewer email that I want to get to, and I think it's kind of right up your alley. Do you mind sticking around for a bit? Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you. Okay, cool. So let me kind of segue into, I talked a little earlier about the free Personal Defense Network newsletter, but the Personal Defense Network site is so much more, because we also have a membership side. The membership portal on the Personal Defense Network has a lot
of exclusive videos, a lot of exclusive content that you don't see on the public side of the site. And these are, a lot of them are DVD in length videos covering extended topics that we just don't do on the public side. But on the membership side, we do, and there is a lot of information there. Membership at Personal Defense Network is $39.95 a year, and frankly, at $39.95 a year, you'll easily get your money back simply by watching a few of the DVD length videos that are there. But I've got a deal for you. If you want to try out the membership here at Personal Defense Network, premium membership at Personal Defense Network, you can do so for only $10 for your first year. That's right, $10 for your first year. Excuse me. It's such a great deal, I got overwhelmed with emotion. But for $10 for your first year, you can try out premium membership here at Personal Defense Network and find out if it's for you, if it's worth it for you, and I think you will. Now, to get this $10 deal, and like I said, it's normally $39.95, so this is like 72% off or something like that. To get this deal, sign up for premium membership at Personal Defense Network. And when you get to the checkout, there's a box for a coupon or discount code. Put in the code GRANT10. Now that's G-R-A-N-T and the numbers 1 and 0, GRANT10, all one word. And that will get you your first year membership here at Personal Defense Network for only $10. And I think you're going to enjoy it. Like I said, there's just a ton of great information there, lots of great videos, exclusive information that you just won't find on the public side of the site. And the public side is great. I mean, we've got more free information here at Personal Defense Network that I think you'll find anywhere on the net. And our premium side has terrific professionally produced videos that you're going to learn a lot from. So first year membership for only $10. If you put in the code GRANT10, that's G-R-A-N-T, the numbers 1 and 0, in the checkout box, and you'll get that first year for $10 deal. It's a phenomenal deal. And share it with your friends, share it with your family. If you know somebody in your family that might be interested in a premium membership or Personal Defense Network and can use the great information that we've got on the premium side, give them that code and they'll get their first year for only $10 as well. So be sure to check that out. Code GRANT10, G-R-A-N-T, and the numbers 1 and 0. First year membership for only $10. So I want to get to a viewer email, and this is where Julie comes in, because I got this email and we've talked a number of times here about, there it is. We've talked a number of times about flashlights for personal defense. And somebody asked, do flashlights need strike bezels to be usable for defense? Now, that's an interesting question, and a lot of you are probably wondering what a strike bezel is. Well, I'll show you. Now, most flashlights look, this is the light side, this is where the light comes out. This is the muzzle end of the flashlight, if you will. And this one's just flat. It's a nice flat square surface, right? Now, a light with a strike bezel has this kind of a cross section. I'm going to see if it can focus on this. Come on, focus. I had it there for a minute. Oh, well, I think you can see, but you see this these little cutouts here. Now, technically, those are called crenellations, but you'll notice that they kind of give a crown-like appearance. And the idea behind these, or at least the theory behind them, is that if you hit somebody with these, they'll hurt more, you'll do more damage, and they make a more effective self-defense tool. I don't know if that's true or not, but there are some downsides to these things. Now, the first and most important for me is that if you stick one of these in a pocket, they tend to wear out the pocket very, very quickly, because what they do on flesh, they also do to fabric, and they really tear the fabric up. The other problem that I have with them is that if you try to take these things through the TSA checkpoint at the airport, TSA really doesn't like these things very much. And I have seen flashlights with crenellated bezels or strike bezels confiscated in the TSA line. So this light with the plain, there we go, the plain squared off, non-crenellated bezel on it. I've taken this flashlight through TSA, I don't know how many times, and they don't even give it a second thought. So from that standpoint, I prefer it. However, Julie teaches a great class called Light Then Fight. She's an expert with the use of a flashlight for self-defense. Julie, what do you think about strike bezels and crenellated bezels and all that stuff?
Well, I like them.
Oh, you like them, okay.
Listen, if it delivers more pain, I love it. But here's, you brought up some really good points. Are you going to look or appear as though you are going to be using that as a defensive weapon? Is it going to be stopped by TSA if you travel a lot? And then part of your personal defense package or plan is going to be taken away from you. And in the big scheme of things, is it going to deliver enough of a difference between the crenellated or the straight edge to really make a difference? If you are, you know, contemplating between one flashlight and another, and flashlight A has everything that you want on it, but it's got a flat top, and flashlight B might be deficient in a couple of other areas that I find to be requirements for personal defense flashlight, but it's got the, like you said, the crown top. It's a no-go for me. The crown top does not make it, or the crenellated top does not make it the one I would buy. I would buy the one with the flat top that had all the other requirements that I choose to use as a personal defense flashlight. Does that help?
I better unmute myself here so people can hear me.
Yeah.
Whew.
I thought it was me this time, Grant. I thought it was me.
Man, so the question is, do any of the flashlights that you carry on a daily basis have strike bezels on them?
Yeah, they do. But you will know the one that does, that I keep it in my car. I rarely carry it on body anymore because it's the old incandescent one. It's the old Surefire. That's the only one that I have anymore that has the beveled edges or the crenellated edges. I just don't find that it is that important. Some people call it, well, it's a DNA collector. You'll get some skin, you'll get some blood. Oh, fine. You know what? I'll probably get skin and blood anyway if I'm hitting hard enough with the flashlight, don't you think?
Yeah, you know, I would think so. You know, if I take this thing and wail on somebody with it, or even wail on them like this with it, yeah. I think I'm going to collect some blood. I don't think that's going to be an issue.
I don't either. So for me, it's not imperative that you have that. If it comes with the flashlight that you find to be, you know, perfect for you, great. It's not a game changer. Don't not get it, but don't make it the one deciding factor on your flashlight. Don't say, well, if it doesn't have that, I'm not getting it, because then I think you're shortchanging yourself in your personal defense.
Okay, cool. Now, because you like to carry a flashlight on the bra strap, clip to the bra strap, I would think that one with that would probably, you know, kind of hurt a little bit. Am I right?
It might, yeah. The one I have now is the little copper one. See? Okay. Off to the side there, and it does not have. It is a flat top. Can you see it?
Right.
Yeah, it's fine, but you know, it's a hunk of metal. It sticks out. It's not one of the longer ones that I have. I do have longer ones that I carry, but this one is fine for me because it sticks outside of my hand. So that's going to make it a hard striking surface. Okay. And that's the more important things, whether you have the beveled edges or not, so long as it sticks outside of your hand, you're going to have a hard striking surface.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, that's a FourSevens Preon P2 Special Edition, right?
Certainly is. Look at that. Look at that beautiful baby right there.
How did I know that? Okay, great. So thank you, Julie. I appreciate you weighing in on that and helping some of our viewers maybe make a little bit better decision. All right, so let's talk about the PDN Training Tour that's coming up now. In fact, Julie was just in one of the classes on the PDN Training Tour. She was in a combat focused shooting class with Rob Pincus this last weekend. So you've participated in the training tour already.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's probably some of the best training out there for honest experiences when you're going to be dealing with personal defense in your firearm. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to have to work through the frustration, and you're going to learn from it. Everybody on that line, everybody on that shooting line was working through something different. And, you know, we're not competing with one another. We had conversations afterwards. We all talked about what we worked through, and we can learn from each other, but we were all working on different things. And, you know, Rob, that was the first class I ever had with Rob. One of the best teachers I've ever been instructed by.
Cool. So let's take a look here and see what some of the classes that are coming up. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screen share this. We're going to take a look at the Personal Defense Network site here, and hopefully everybody should be able to see this now. And if you go to the Personal Defense Network site and go to training, and you'll notice that there is a tour dates and locations tab or a click that you can click on, a link that you can click on. So I'm just going to click on that, and we're going to bring this up. And we're going to take a look at some of the stuff that's happening in the next couple of weeks. And we covered some of these. We're going to start roughly where we left off last time, because we have, we'll start about a week from now. Now, there are some classes going on this week, and you may be able to get into some of those, but a lot of those are probably full. But let's take a look at what's coming up in say, the next week and 2 weeks. So Rob Pincus is going to be in Searsboro, Iowa. Boy, somebody's really going to get upset with me that I didn't pronounce that right. Right? So Searsboro, Iowa is going to see a whole bunch of classes, right? All in the same couple of days. Advanced pistol handling, safer, faster knife defense with our friend Alessandro Padovani, and two-person arm defense with Rob Pincus, defensive carry 360 with Barrett Kendrick, another combat-focused shooting class, and a combat-focused carbine class. So those are all coming up in Searsboro, Iowa, the weekend, the 6/10 through about 6/12, which is very cool. On the 13th through the 17th in Faribault, again, boy, you know, somebody's really going to write me nasty for some of these, I tell you. But anyway, in Minnesota, you Minnesotans know what town that is. Reality-based training instructor development. If you're a defensive firearms trainer, this is a class for you to take to learn how to incorporate reality-based training into your classes, and it's definitely a very, very worthwhile class. In Denver, Colorado, on the 17th and 18th, again, Alessandro Padovani, good friend of ours, teaching women's personal safety ground defense and women's personal safety fundamentals. And I have not taken that class for obvious reasons, but if it comes from Alessandro, I'm sure it's going to be pretty good, because he is a phenomenal instructor. Again, in Denver, the next couple of days in Denver, our friend Cecil Birch is going to be back. The legendary Cecil Birch. We have to say that, because he is legendary. His immediate action combatives core coursework, which is his base class. And then the day after that, again in Denver, Alessandro Padovani with his flagship course, which is safer, faster knife defense. And I've experienced some of his training with knife, and he is an expert with the knife. So that's going to be a great class for folks. In Leadville, Colorado, Rob Pincus is going to be there for a few days teaching fundamentals of combat-focused shooting, 1 day advanced pistol handling, and a combat-focused carbine class, all in a row, so you can get all of those taken care of in 3 days of training. In Reno, Nevada, Derek Poole, another good friend of ours, is going to be teaching combat-focused shooting and advanced pistol handling. And in Eagle, Colorado, on the 25th, Rob Pincus is going to be teaching combat-focused shooting. And finally, I'm going to finish up with one here on the 25th, West Hampton, New York. Chris Fry, and his company is MDTS, I think. Chris is getting to be very, very well known as a teacher of integration of defensive skills, and he's got one called Pistol Precision, Speed, and Decisions. And I've heard some about this class. I understand it's exceptionally good, and that's coming up on the 25th of this month in West Hampton, New York. So a lot of great courses coming up there. I don't know about you, but I would like to take a bunch of these.
And you know what I would like is I would like to see more women participate in these classes. I don't know if it's because they are intimidated by them or if they're not looking for them because they don't have women in the title. But I can tell you that every class that I've taken, ICE training company, and I'm also a certified defensive firearms coach. I believe in the programs that much. And whether it's a participant or it's an instructor, wants to see more women in the classes. There's so much information, so much valuable information that they have to give. And you'll feel comfortable. Even if you feel trepidation walking into the class or even signing up for the class, within the first 5 minutes, it's gone. It's gone. So I would encourage and challenge women who are listening to this program to go to the icetraining.us site, look at the classes, pick one, invest, and take a class.
And again, most of these classes are listed right there on the Personal Defense Network website under the training tour. And even after the training tour ends, go to icetraining.us, or in fact, there are links to all of the PDN contributors to their websites where you can go and sign up for their classes. We have a phenomenal group of active trainers and instructors here at Personal Defense Network. I mean, just tons of great classes, and the training tour is going to be going through the end of July, and actually into August. So there are classes out there, excuse me, all over the United States, from East Coast to West Coast, going on during the training tour, and you can no doubt find just about anything that you want.
Absolutely. And if you have to travel, take 3 or 4 of your girlfriends and share a hotel room and share expenses, because you're investing how much in a firearm? $500-$600. Willing to put a couple $100s into training? I think people need to think about that realistically, and I think they'll realize, yeah, you kind of do need to put some money into training.
I think you're right. Cool. Well, we're just about out of time, and I want to, first of all, thank you, Julie, for coming on the show. Great as always, some great information. And
Grant.
And again, midohioimb.com, right?
Correct.
Okay, cool. We'll have a link to Julie's site and all this other stuff in the show notes after the show. It may take me an hour or so to get that up, but we will have all that information in the show notes for you, so don't worry that you have to remember this, because it'll all be available for you. A couple of things before we go. If you please send emails, make comments on the show page. You can comment, of course, on the Personal Defense Network site. Just scroll down while the video is going. You can enter your comments there. Of course, you can always reach me at grant@grantcunningham.com. Just send me an email. Always happy to get emails from folks and to answer those questions. Of course, don't forget the free PDN weekly newsletter. Just sign up for that any place on the Personal Defense Network website. There are just tons of opportunities, and join the hundreds of thousands of other people who are PDN members. Don't forget about the premium membership at Personal Defense Network. $10 for your first year. Just use the code GRANT10, GRANT, the numbers 1 and 0, all one word, and you'll get that first year for $10. Don't forget about that deal, and share that with your friends and family members as well. And our next show is coming up 2 weeks from today, so that will be the 16th of this month. Again, that's the third Thursday. Our regular schedule is the first and third Thursday of each month at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and we'll have another great show coming up here in just a couple of weeks on the 16th. So be sure and tune in for that. And again, we would definitely appreciate you sharing that with your friends. So, Julie, thanks again, and we'll have you on again really soon. And to everybody who tuned in, thank you very much. We do appreciate it. And we hope to see you again on the next episode in 2 weeks from now. In the meantime, stay safe. Good night, everybody.
Good night.